welcome back. Next day, paint is dry. I want to do some wet sanding and buffing to it. Not going to go crazy with it. Knock down the dirt. There's really no orange peel. Very, very, very minor. So basically I just want to hit it with some 1500 grit. Normally I don't wet sand and buff in the spray booth, but the spray booth is a little bit dirty and the wheels and tires are off of it. The rest of the car is covered up. So why not just do it in here? It's going to be a lot easier for me to untape it after I'm done buffing than to wipe compound off of everything else. So basically, I have some 1500 grit sandpaper here. And I just have some paint sticks that I taped together a long time ago. I like to use that. We're just going to wrap the 1500 in it. Usually I'll soak this stuff in water first, but I don't think we'll need to on this. There's a little bit of soap in my water, just regular soap, nothing fancy, just to help it glide a little bit. And so all we're going to do is just lightly, don't want to push hard, just want to just lightly go over it. I feel it dragging a little bit, and that's basically because the paper is not saturated in water yet, and it will do that. So it's all we're doing is lightly going over this surface. I just want to kind of do this part on camera to show you how long I plan on taking wet sanding this. I'm not going to get super crazy at the bottom here. There's a molding and you're not really going to see any of this down here. Actually, there's a little spot right there I missed. Need to fix that little spot. I don't know how I missed that. So now I have to change my gear, or my thinking here. We're going to have to fix that real quick before I can buff this. I totally missed a spot that apparently I sanded through down there and didn't realize it. And you can see gray primer. So we're going to fix this by just wet sanding down here. We're going to blow a little bit of color, a little bit of clear. This clear is not even 24 hours old, so it's going to blend together extremely well. And I have a blending agent we can use too. And that'll happen sometimes. It must have just not seen it because of the yellow tape right there. Must have just thought it was a reflection. Sounds like there's something on here. If you hear any sort of a weird sound when you're wet sanding, stop. Because then you're probably putting deep scratches in your clear. That's almost ready. It needs a little bit more. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend blending this in with 1500 grit, but seeing that the clear is so fresh, I'm not really concerned about it. It's gonna adhere just fine. It's gonna melt into the clear because the clear is not that old. You just got to make sure that you scuff it really well all around the area you're going to do. Okay, let's see what that looks like. I do have a squeegee, just got to get it. This works out okay because I got to leave for a couple hours, so while I'm gone, that little area can dry down here. So if you look closely here, you can see a couple spots that still have to hit with the wet sanding. You can see how I kind of missed right here. And you see there's a little tiny piece of dirt there. It's very, very small. Just a couple little spots. You can see a little bit of orange peel right here, but you see up here how it's a lot smoother. We're not going for no imperfections at all. We're not building a show car here, but we want it to look nice. So I'm gonna sand on this for a couple more minutes and then we're gonna blend in that right here. Look at that. We're gonna get that blended in. So let me sand for a couple more minutes and I'll be back. Okay, tailgate's all sanded down. There's that little spot I missed on the bottom last night. So if this clear were a couple days old, I would want to re-clear the whole tailgate. But seeing that we're under 24 hours, it won't be a problem blending it into the clear. So I have some of the paint mixed up from what I had left over last night. And what I'm going to do is, I got to fix this air hose. There's an O-ring that I can't get to that needs to be replaced. But anyways, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my gun kind of like an airbrush. I'm not gonna spray full pressure or full trigger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down here on this piece of paper just to show you that I'm gonna turn my dial in, okay? See how I have a smaller point now? Now I just have like a little bit off of round. We could take it all the way in and make it round. See, now it's perfectly round. When you turn this in all the way, your air pressure goes up. So you gotta adjust your air pressure. We're gonna take your air pressure down. And I'm never gonna apply full trigger. I'm just gonna lightly mist it on here. So basically I'm spraying more air than I am paint. And what it's doing is it's causing it to dry really fast because it's mostly air and just a little bit of paint. I'm trying to keep it in this little window so that when I clear, I'm just going to go a little bit past it. Okay, that's all covered up. Really no overspray, not even wearing a mask. Don't have the fans on because I don't need them. So now I'm gonna clean out the gun, mix up a little bit of clear, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that. Okay, I have some little bit of clear mixed up with no reducer in it. I still have the gun turned in all the way. Okay, we're gonna let that first coat dry. As you can see, I went past where I had put the base coat. So I'm gonna let that dry for a couple minutes. We're gonna come back and we're putting our coat on. All right, let's put our next coat on. We're gonna go a little bit wider than we did on the first coat. Okay, that's it with the clear. Now we're gonna take this 1K spot blender Okay, what this is going to do is this is going to melt the clear edge into the old clear edge. So we're going to take just a little bit of this. And that's it. Let it dry. Once it dries, and I hit that with some wet sanding and buffing, you will never see that spot there. So I'm actually kind of glad that this happened, because now it's a way for me to show you guys how to fix something minor like that, especially in something this paint right now is 14 hours old. So it's not even a full 24 hours old. That's why I totally confident in using this stuff. I've used it on older paint too, and it's worked. But in this situation, it's going to work a lot better than it would in older paint. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and just work on 1500 gridding the sides and the roof down. And then I'll come back and we can run the buffer on it. So it'll be later on today when I come back with the buffing and we do the buffing. Another quick thing here, when you're wet sanding on fresh clear, if your sandpaper has like gobs of clear stuck to your paper, it's too wet still, it's not dry. This is dry. We're not having any issues with that. And I'm kind of just using a folded over piece of paper right over in this area. I don't want to hit any of these edges with that block and possibly burn through it. Okay, so the driver's side is wet sanded. It took me 15 minutes to sand down this whole side. Okay, and I know it's going to buff really nice because look at how flat it is. And I think I should be able to buff right at the 1500. I don't think I'll need to go any higher because the clear is so fresh. Now, the good thing is because I have to leave for a while, wet sanding this now, letting it set for several hours before I get to buffing it, what I'm doing is I'm letting out the any solvents that are in there, or it's helping it dry because I've taken that top skin layer off of the clear coat and now it's breathing again. You know what I mean? So that definitely helps. So basically I got this side, and you can see how it's shiny still, which means it's going to buff really good. So I got the tailgate and this side out of one half sheet of 1500 grit sandpaper. So the next sheet of 1500 grit sandpaper is going to knock out this side and most of the roof. So 3 pieces of 1500 grit sandpaper makes a huge difference, and a little bit of buffing. So a few hours of your time can take a paint job that looks like this right out of the gun, which in the camera it looks perfect, you know what I mean? But it's not. It's got a little bit of, like I said, it's got a little bit of dirt. You know, there's a little bit of tiny dirt, but you can see it. I mean, it's really good. Totally could leave like this and it would be totally fine. This is just from me wet sanding. But anyways, but to spend a couple hours and take it to the next level, why not? You know what I mean? We're not building a show car, but we can still have a nice car. You know, this is something that's going to get driven, not parked in the garage and looked at. And that's, you know, the older I get, the more I realize that you just got to drive this stuff. What good is it doing you sitting in a garage not driving it? Even if you can't afford a paint job, get it up and running and drive the damn thing. What are you going to do? Wait until you're dead? Then you can't. It's not going to do any good at that point. So my theory is just get these things done to whatever you feel comfortable spending and drive them and enjoy them. That's what it's about. You know, our 73 Dodge Dart, we drive it to Good Guys in Columbus every year. We're actually going next Friday, just for Friday and Saturday. We're driving it down there, but I think I'll do a video while I'm there. Let me know if you guys want to see a video of Good Guys in Columbus, Ohio. I can walk around and take a video of the show and some of the cars. There's anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 cars there, so obviously I am not going to be able to walk around the whole entire show and video it because that would be hours of videoing. So, all right, well, I'm going to work on the passenger side now, knocking that down, and then the roof. I hate doing roofs. I always dread doing the roof, but the roof is actually pretty darn good. This gets a luggage rack back here, which you're really not going to see much of it. I'll concentrate more here than back there. And once again, this is actually really flat. Just has a little bit of tiny little dust in it. And that probably blew out from here. See, there's double layer of metal in here. Dust probably blew out from there. Spray guns have a tendency to find dust no matter where it's hidden and blow it out. You could blow the car off 40 times with the blowgun. As soon as you get that spray gun going, all of a sudden dirt comes out of somewhere. So, all right, I'll be back later. Okay, I've been in and out all day having to do a bunch of stuff, but the car is all wet sanded down. Even did the roof up here. Didn't really mess with the back here. It's pretty clean. Not real much dirt up there. There's a luggage rack going back up there. So I'm not gonna stress out about that too much. So we're gonna run the buffer here. This is a compound that I've been trying out lately. It's a new compound. I haven't really had a chance to use it on a big surface, big area. So this is gonna be the determining factor if I like this or not. It's G360 is the name of it. And that is the company that makes it. So this is gonna be the final test to see if I keep using this or not. I like to try new products when I see them. And we're gonna see how this cuts. This is 24 hours old now, this clear. So let's see how it buffs out. We're gonna go a little bit of a lower speed because the clear is really fresh. And I have a brand new pad here too. I'm actually gonna put a little bit on the pad as well. Looks like it's polishing up pretty quick. I'm about 1500 RPM. I don't know if this actually tells you what RPM to run it at. Some of these tell you that. But this stuff works on 1500 grit or finer scratches, and I wet sanded this down with 1500. So it is taking out the 1500 marks nicely. Wonder if it says, sometimes it'll tell you what RPM to run, but I don't think it says it on here. Yeah, it doesn't say. I'll grab a microfiber towel in a minute here and we'll wipe off this compound and see what it looks like. Now there's really no quick way to wet sanding and buffing. It just takes time. No matter what you do, there's no way around it. Another thing you could do, which works really well, is over time, while you're buffing, your pad starts to get filled with compound. If you take a little bit of water and spray it on your panel and buff it again, what it does is it breaks down the compound in your pad, and it also kind of makes the compound a little bit thinner. And it kind of creates another form of a compound, like a little bit of a thinner compound. And then after that, we're going to go to a black pad and hit it with a different compound. And you can see that the water will start to clean it a little bit, the surface of the paint. Oh, and I did wet sand that spot that we repaired earlier today. So let me just buff on this side a little bit, and then we'll just go ahead and hit it with the other pad before we even wipe this down. But I'm just kind of running the camera, giving you an idea about how long it takes to do this first compound on an average size panel. I'm definitely liking this rubbing compound. I think it works pretty darn good. See a little speck of dirt right there. I'm going to knock that out. Just because I can, and only take a second to do it. I'm trying to keep a couple fingers on it rather than just one. I don't want to make a groove in the paint. Okay. A little bit of water again. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a black pad in the other compound. As long as you buff it off, like I did, to where it's almost all gone, you really don't need to wipe it down. If you leave a lot of compound, you're gonna wanna wipe it down before your other compound. Okay, this is the other compound here. That's the part number 90601. That goes with the black pad. And the white part number is 90600. So let's put a little bit of this on there. And then I forgot my microfiber towel. I'll have to go grab one in a minute. Should be about all we need of this for this panel. You can see this stuff goes a lot farther than the other compound. A little bit of water again. All right, I'm gonna go grab a microfiber towel. Okay, let's get it wiped down. We'll take a look at it. Now keep in mind, this wet sanding and buffing, between the buffing and the wet sanding, there's less than 20 minutes probably into this one panel. Is it perfect? No. If I put a little bit more time, would it be? Probably. But we just want it to be nice. I'm gonna have to wet the rag a little bit. Sometimes you have to wet the rag to get the compound off. It's actually a really nice blue. Now, I'm going to do the rest of the car off of camera, but I am going to hit the whole car with the white pad first, then come back and do the black pad. I was just doing this so that I can get a panel done real quick so you guys can see what it looks like. So this is minimal effort of wet sanding and buffing. And this is what you come up with. Really, really kind of hard to capture on camera. But dusty. But hopefully you get the idea. And then our blend down here, can't see any of it. None of the clear or anything. There's a little dent right here, but that's the bottom of the emblem that goes there. So that's pretty much it. The camera's actually catching glare from the lights and making the paint look like it's dull, but it's really not. Can't really get it to focus. That's a better spot right there. Now you can see the shine to it. So, all right, that's just going to be a quick video on showing you how I'm doing the wet sanding and buffing. I'm going to knock down the rest of this car, get the rims put back on it, untape it, put the trim back on and everything. Tomorrow I'll just do a quick walk around of the car once it's all back together. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys stick around for these other projects coming up. There's pretty much going to be projects forever. So if you guys are willing to watch, I'm willing to make the videos. So thanks, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow.